My GF doesn't have boundaries with male friends and jeopardizing our relationship over it. I and my girlfriend have been getting deep and serious about a long-term relationship. We have sort of known each other over a year but recently started talking every day mid-August. Just some backstory on here. She's beautiful but a lot more PEMICUIS than I am used to. At first I didn't like it but I feel I was able to get over it. Then about a month after we started talking on a daily basis I found out that she met a guy on Hinge 8 days after we started talking and had intimate with him 2 days later after just 2 dates. The vibe was right as she says. This bothered me because we had already been talking but we weren't really anything, but in my mind I was hoping to build more, and I guess at the time she didn't see things as I did. Okay, September and October have been full speed amazing, she's been amazing and I have been trying hard and we have been talking serious long-term relationship with one another. In comes a guy named Jay, a friend she's known for 5 years. She tells me out of the blue one night she has a scheduled catch-up call with Jay and lets me go to catch up with Jay at the same time she's getting in the bath, which I thought was strange but probably nothing. But I thought it strange because she always does video chat. So I'm thinking she's getting in bathtub video chat with Jay. Afterwards I question her and she says it wasn't video chat. She and her ex and Jay and his ex were couple friends. Well, in December my girl became single and in March Jay becomes single. She tells me Jay will always be there for her and she will always be there for Jay. She tells me how he come over her house one night and had her crying by telling her about herself when she needed support. Seems like some deep emotional bonding stuff. So here comes last Wednesday. My girlfriend tells me that her and Jay are going to London and they both have to take an hour train ride to get to London from different parts of the city Friday night for dinner. They are willing to travel over an hour to meet each other for dinner to catch up. So he's single and her and I have agreed to be exclusive, and this sounded like a date to me. But I wouldn't tell her not to go even though it was alarms in my head. Then after prying a bit more she admitted they will probably go for drinks too, not just dinner. So I'm like, great, Jay and my girl going out on a Friday night alone together for drinks and dinner. Okay. I kept giving her clues how I was uncomfortable about the situation but it's almost as if she just ignored it. We had a talk and she agreed their friendship has shifted dynamics since they are both single now. She also told me while her and Jay were talking he said if I were still in a relationship you and I would never be going out alone. And still though it was a good idea to go. Like WTF. I asked her if she invited him to her house for intimate would he say yes, and her answer was I feel like any man wouldn't turn that down, so basically she knows he would. Okay, she tells me I just have to trust her. So Friday comes, I'm trying to be strong. She's texting me on the train ride and I asked her to send me a pic of what she's wearing. She agrees but wants to wait until she's at dinner for a mirror selfie. As soon as the train arrives in London she goes quiet for over an hour. I texted her a couple times and she didn't even bother to look. Finally I texted how is the dinner going and she tells me they haven't even made it to dinner, they just been having drinks and have just arrived to the restaurant at like 10 p.m. She goes dark again for almost 2 hours. So I start getting nervous and I look and I see the restaurant closed 40 minutes ago. I messaged her and she says she lost track of time. And the last train home leaves a little after 12. She sends a small video of the table while Jay is in the bathroom. And I lose it and block her on everything. I never got the pic. Also after some snooping on his IG I seen a reel he posted at the table with my girl's hand in it and the drink in his post says, I am all yours, like this latte drinks where they put designs, but this was an alcoholic drink. I thought that was strange. She tries like hell to contact me, I unblock her and we have been fighting. She doesn't think she has done anything wrong and that I should have told her not to go. And I have to trust her. Well, I thought I did well in explain how I was uncomfortable with it. Am I supposed to control her and tell her no, you can't go? That just not me. I feel she completely disregarded my feelings and didn't give about my feelings in general, and frankly I feel like this is something I shouldn't have had to tell her not to go. We are fresh and trying to build something together. I do have trust, but damn, to a certain extent why push it to the breaking point so early before it's fully established? I don't mind her having male friends, I'd like to meet them first. She's trying to make me feel like I'm wrong and crazy for thinking this way. If the tables were turned I would have told my female friend I'm getting serious with someone and post it and ask her if we could do it with my girl because I'd love for you to meet her. Also I know if it were me she wouldn't be cool with it, but I wouldn't put her in that situation because I don't want any friction because I love her. But that's just me, I guess. I'm sorry this is so long, I was trying to get it all in and vent a little. I need some advice. We have been arguing since Saturday and I want her, but I just don't think she feels the same, even though she says she does. Her actions show something totally different, and it's as if she can't see things from my perspective. I feel disregarded and not a priority in her life. These are not good for a long-term relationship, I think. So, am I overreacting? Is her male friendship strange? How should I move forward? Comment. Yep, have some self-respect and stick to your guns. You will never not know what happened, and it is not worth dealing with for someone who has no respect for you and places others first. Like, honestly, my last text would be, I don't trust you anymore, bye, and moving on. This isn't going to get better. You two guys have completely different views of relationships in general. There is too few common ground. From reading your post, I think you two are just incompatible. Time to nope out of this one, I am afraid. That was a date. You know it was a date. She knows it was a date. He knows it was a date. We all know it was a date. She didn't contact you because you weren't her priority, her date was. And she ignored your unease about it for the same reason. Cut your losses. She isn't the one, take it from me, as a female myself. She is feeling out her options and keeping you in the loop as backup. Please respect yourself and love yourself first. She does not. The whole situation was shady. Yeah, they have history and this catch-up date is exciting. They already planned the next outing. They'll keep the relationship at this stage, all of the excitement of going out for drinks and being frisky without the downsides of being in a committed relationship, paying bills and making joint decisions. That's what up is for. Shit is going to keep hitting the fan at home, and Jay will be her weekly escape. The worst thing that could happen to Jay is for Up to leave her, because now he will be in the BF role and no longer the fun guy. You're not a priority. She's still entertaining the interests of other men. You need to set some actual boundaries of your own, and that means understanding and accepting your own self-worth. Your boundary here would be that you won't tolerate dating someone who is also entertaining other men's interests. If she won't respect this, then you end the relationship. Who's more secure? A man who has boundaries and is willing to enforce them, or a man who has boundaries but won't enforce them in fear of being dumped? It's hard to believe you are 39. At no point until after blowing up and blocking and a bunch of unnecessary drama did you have a real convo with her. She was just supposed to intuit it because of your hints and your own personal warped sense of propriety. You dropped clues. She's not dumb? What? Grow up and have a dialogue. You were twisted when she left and then flipped when you didn't get a selfie on demand, then blocked her like a 16-year-old. What about it? This was his drink, was it not? If the dude was trying it on with her, that says nothing about whether she was receptive or not. He's a friend of 5 years and she wanted to catch up. Up is being incredibly jealous and controlling, and their relationship has barely begun. I understand your feeling, but if you don't explicitly tell someone that you don't want them to go, they aren't mind readers and can't know what you want. You could have said, I won't tell you you can't go because that seems too controlling and I'm not that type of person, but I would prefer it if you didn't go, as it makes me extremely uncomfortable you going alone. Next story 2. My husband, he gave me a half-ass apology admitting to his controlling behavior. My husband have been together 2 years, married for 5. Before we got married, we had an incident in which I told him I wanted to cut my hair again to shoulder. He met me with even shorter hair, and he freaked out and said, no, I was looking forward to your hair growing out, don't cut it. If you cut it, I'll be so upset. We continued to talk about that incident today, and he finally admitted months later that he said, if you cut your hair I'll be very upset, to prevent me from cutting it. I looked at him with big eyes and told him that is a form of control, and that is a huge deal breaker for me. I will not stand for it. I got really serious and stern with him, and he got pretty defensive because obviously he is used to me submitting and was confused as to why I was talking to him this way. For our civil ceremony, I had looked at a bunch of fun dresses, like with fringe and stuff. I had a vision of what I wanted to look like, with a veil and gloves. My husband didn't let me wear anything of it, and chose a dress for me. No, I'm still not over this. He kept denying any of this until today by saying, I never told you not to wear any accessories. When I bring it up again, now he says, I wanted you to wear those things at a nice venue with decoration etc., not at some courthouse. Now he admits to saying it. He thinks this isn't a big deal at all, and that I shouldn't be ruminating over this small incident. To me it isn't small at all. It's huge. What else in my life will he feel entitled to control if he feels entitled to controlling my appearance? I told him I should have called off the wedding when he tried to prevent me from wearing what I wanted. Then he asked me if I wanted to break up now, and I said based on how I'm feeling yes, and he said well think about it and let me know. He gave me the most half-ass apologies each for both incidents ever, absolutely void of any emotion whatsoever. He tells me it's genuine and that he means it. I didn't even feel a pinch when he said it. I told him I don't need your half-ass apology. And I still don't feel better. We cannot afford couples therapy. I go to individual therapy and my therapist is very helpful in this area. I told her since I had not received genuine emotional space holding from him following this incident, after having told him how much it affected me, it's hard for to begin to forgive him. She says this is crucial. And here he is offering me oh my bad. Edit, I never asked for his opinion or input. I was simply stating that I was doing something. And in the past he's had the ability to either convince me to do something or not. Edit 2, when I was deciding whether leaving was the right choice, I came across the most beautiful unconventional dress and I knew him and his family would never let me wear it to the big wedding. They're all highly opinionated and without me asking them, they helped me look for dresses, when I already knew what I wanted. Edit 3, someone said I left out important info in the first post. I put it in a comment but I'll put it here. In another occasion where I was trying on clothes, I tried on something that was very revealing and his response unprovoked was, you can wear that but only for me. AKA, you can't go out in public like that. He has controlling tendencies, they are just very, very subtle and disguised as care. Edit 4, he wore jeans to our very important wedding ceremony. Edit 5, we've been married for 5 months. I meant to write months. Edit 6, after much consideration and thought, and comments from others, I have realized that it's been me who hasn't had the backbone to make my own choices. I even tried to say that I didn't think I was ready/wanted marriage and they both managed to convince me otherwise. And now I'm resentful BC I didn't stick to what I truly wanted, which was to come to a decision on my own. And now I'm in the situations, again, where I just let other people decide for me, my husband and Mill, so of course I'm exhausted. But yes, I do want to clarify that I got myself into these situations. And I have no one to blame but myself. Comment. Can I just ask, why did you get married then? You were upset he picked out a dress for you, you wore it and got married. I could be on my own here, but if my husband was forcing me to wear a dress I didn't want to wear, there wouldn't have been a wedding. It's important to remember that some women may stay in relationships with toxic men for reasons that are more complex than they might appear on the surface. There can be various factors involved, such as emotional attachment, fear, financial dependency, or societal pressures, making it a lot more challenging to simply walk away from such situations. I stayed with a toxic man for 17 years because he convinced me I was worthless and no one could ever love me because I was so horrible and all the people in my life hated me behind my back and no one wanted to tell me the truth, so he had to be the one to do it, so I get the whole toxic thing. I am mildly confused as to how he or his family didn't let you wear what you wanted. How were they going to stop you? Were they going to arrest you and throw you in dress jail if you didn't wear what they wanted? I am sure there is nuance here that explains why you buckle at pressure from him and his family. That nuance should probably be explored further in your therapy, so you don't end up knuckling under for an overbearing guy in your next relationship. There's a very subtle way of controlling, starts with little things, like, I don't know, a hairpin, or an opinion on something truly small, in each he has a strong against it opinion. So she already knew what to expect if she would have showed up in anything else than something he would approve of. It's very subtle, you don't even feel it most of the times. It's like you adopt his taste in things so things don't go sideways because, yeah, he is so amazing and only has small requests here and there, and when those googles go off you can actually see all the control and how it started. And you as a woman, you start giving inch by inch on your own opinions and adopt his. You should just be done, it won't get better, you might get another yeah, you know, you were right about that time, but I was young and stupid. That's actually worthless, cause after years of control he doesn't even know how to not control and he will just keep on doing, because right? He knows what's best for you and only wants what's best for you. No. I'm not. Both victim is never the one at fault, the abuser is, and you can change your behaviors in order to change your situation can be true. And they have to be, if the second one isn't, there's no point in giving victims advice, since they cannot do anything to get out/protect themselves anyway. But they obviously can. But if they think that they don't have the power to change things, they won't. This is literally what boundaries are about. You cannot change what other person does, but you can change what you do. If this simple truth is now victim blaming and verboten, then they truly are trapped, and I don't even know what the therapist could say to help. The fact that standing up to an abuser is dangerous is both true and irrelevant to what I wrote. I could be wrong here, but I get the feeling that you've never been in an abusive relationship. Boundaries work really well in healthy relationships, but they're impossible to implement or enforce in abusive relationships. Telling a victim to stand up to her abuser really isn't the best advice, because it can be dangerous for her. How do you think abusers assert control? They do it by escalating threats and acts of violence. It starts with yelling, name-calling, withholding affection, escalates to hitting or throwing objects, and so on and so on. The victim knows that the next hit could land on her face. And to say that dangerous consequences are irrelevant to what you've written is naive at best.